Welcome to Conversational Currency. This is your platform. We will discuss the value and importance of social skills for business in a digital era. Communication, my friends, is a superpower. Your ability to articulate the right words in the right moment to every man or woman in a business setting will upgrade the trajectory of your life. When you think about your mate, when you think about your salary, when you think about your social circle, when you think about just the quality of your experience, it is all directly related to the ability to communicate your intentions with clarity in the moment. Happy Father's Day. And in this Father's Day edition, I, Shadi Q. Eleazer, will be sharing with you business networking lessons that I've learned from my father, Mr. James A. Eleazer. And the Q in my middle name is important because the Q means my pride and strength. Shadi Quadri Laser, my pride and strength. So what my father would tell me is that in moments where I am not, let's say, feeling my best or I need to pick things up, he'll say, Shadi, you are my pride and strength. And when you were born, it made me look at myself in a different way, pick myself up in a certain way, and your success and the things you've accomplished continues to help me pick up things in new ways. Getting a little choked up here. I never thought about this. And I love my dad. So, what we're doing in this live video is we're reverse engineering a lifetime of people skills. And I sat back and realized, like, wait a minute. I may be, no, now, as much as you may respect my work or admire what I do, I may be nothing more than the karaoke version of Mr. James E. Laser. So I'm going to share with you the James E. Laser method that I've learned about people skills, and I'm going to break it down into some actionable steps for you. So what we're going to cover in this video is the following. I'm going to cover the James E. Laser Charm School method, his approach to charm. We're going to cover how we approach networking all along and all wrong, and how my dad, there's some things that he doesn't even realize he does them, but he does them right. And so we're going to cover one of his specialties, and that is how to own the room at live events. How to own the room, convey presence, power, and authority at live events. And I realized that, wait a minute, my dad has been doing live events for a lifetime. And there's so much that I learned from him that I did not realize that I learned from him that I'm going to share with you today. And I'm going to share with you what I learned about fashion and appearance from my dad. So if you've ever met me in person, yes, 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 and you said, wow, I like the way he puts it together. He has so much style. He's so handsome. His socks are cool. Just know that there's a man on this planet named James Laser that I can talk to for an hour straight about cufflinks and cologne. And there's so many things that he taught me about, let's say, when I was 7 or 8 years old, about, let's say, putting creases in my pants and shining my shoes. These are things I learned very early on. And it's important to always pay homage and always acknowledge where your inspiration comes from. So that's important. Now, my dad and I, where did I learn all these things from? My dad and I made a decision years ago as adults to repair our relationship through having Saturday conversations. Now, by repair, I'm not referring to the idea that he was never in my life or that I never met him or he was absent. You see, my dad, similar to me, this is a trait I share with my dad, is that very ambitious. And during the times of my youth, he traced his dreams with his entire being. He really believed in a particular goal and reality that he wanted for himself. So the result was that we spent a lot of time in events, or I spent a lot of time with relatives. But what we lacked was the insight, the moments. And what we have the time to do today through those conversations is focus on the moments that matter. Hey, Dad, what were you thinking in this moment? Well, I was thinking this, A, B, and C, and this is what I learned, and this is what I see in you. And in these conversations, we learn so much about each other. And both in, let's say, his role as a father and as my role as a son and aspiring father. So there's so much, let's say, give and take within these conversations. And what I admire most about the conversations is that he respects my mind as it is today. Many people, and I ask you the question, how well do you know your parents? You may love your parents. You may be familiar with your parents. You may have proximity to your parents in terms of seeing them on holidays, on birthdays, so on and so forth. But do you know the thought process that your parents went through when you were born? What changes did they have to make? Did they have to go from a studio apartment to the place that you've already known, or what financial stress were they facing? How did they change? What type of person did they become? Did they stop going out more? What ideas did they pick up? Did they say I'm going to go to church more so that my son or daughter can have some sort of spirituality in their lives? These are all questions that you should ask your parents. You should interview your parents. And I'm fortunate in that my dad is transparent enough to provide that experience for me. So I believe that every father and child will have this moment in life where there's this crossing of paths, especially if you have not, let's say, had a relationship with your parent. And let's say, let's use an extreme example. If you've never met your father, for example, or you met him once and then he went somewhere else for whatever reason, reasons aside, there will be a path or a moment in your life where you will cross paths and have the opportunity to fulfill destiny in that there's learning, there's uh, a bit of transferring that needs to take place between one generation to the next. And if you have that opportunity, I encourage you to seek that and learn more about your parents as much as possible. You can choose your friends, you can choose your family, but you cannot choose your origin. You only have one set of parents, for better or for worse. And what you learn, especially from a medical perspective, or let's say personality perspective, for example, I learned that we both have a way of creating a barrier around our achievement. It's very hard to get into our world. It's very hard to get into what we, let's say, our inner thoughts, because we're always go, go, go towards a particular goal. And when I was younger, my dad was gung ho, forward facing towards this particular goal. Now, you're trying to get to know someone with that particular mindset. I went my whole life without understanding what what that was about. Like, why am I like this? And then during our Saturday conversations, it came up. I went, wait a minute. I realized that I've been this way all along because of you. And there's many traits that you can grow up completely separate from each other, which was not the case in my scenario, but you can grow completely away from your father and still have the same mannerisms and the same traits that exist. So it's important from a health standpoint, personality standpoint, success standpoint, understand the keys through your lineage that you possess. I'll give you another example. I was watching my dad speak at an event, and this was maybe last year, late last year. And I had an epiphany. I said, whoa, I didn't realize that my dad, who is my first public speaking influence, does the same mannerism that I do. I thought it was my little signature technique. And he's been doing this for years, and I didn't even recognize it. I didn't even realize it until I was in that moment. I said, whoa, we're more alike than we want to admit or that we care to be. But in those conversations, that is where we learn where that is. So let me take a moment to acknowledge the wonderful people on this broadcast. I have my very own cousin, Darren Haynes, on the broadcast. I have Christopher Mendez. I lived on a boat with this gentleman in the middle of the ocean many years ago. We have Dangerous Dave Sawyer over ooh, uh, 400 some odd episodes of R&R TV produced. Simone Constantine. We have the great future governor of some U.S. state, Jordan Jerome Harrison. You must say his entire name because his future is bright on the broadcast. And Mr. Dennis Staples. And thank you, Mom, for sharing the video. Thank you, Mom, for sharing the video. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So now let's get into the meat of this particular broadcast. Now I want you to keep in mind that, yes, having conversations with your father is very important. Call your parents. Make sure you have that. I am fortunate that I have that opportunity. So let's go into some actual tips and strategies. So let's say when we talk about the networking lessons, people skills that I've learned from my father, I'm going to go into the James Eleazer Charm School method. James Eleazer Charm School method. First things first. My dad is a very charming, charismatic individual, more so than he cares to admit. This man makes me look like, the most introverted man on the planet. And he always makes me bashful when I'm out with him. So let's go into this. The Charm School method. First of all, smile. Smile brightly, but also take care of your teeth. Take care of your teeth. Now, in my dad's heyday, my dad's smile could be seen a city block away. City block away. In many of the communities we come from, and we're discussing Philadelphia to be exact, dental hygiene is often an afterthought, meaning the dentist tells us we need to take care of our teeth instead of us saying, wow, we need to do some preventative maintenance here. And my dad, the smile would be bright and see it a mile away. No matter what he's saying to you, the charm of the smile is readily apparent. Now, in many communities, you have to keep a scowl on your face and you have to be defensive and always keep your guard up. But my dad is a smiler. So the first thing he'd do to disarm anyone who he's just meeting is simply smile. And also taking care of your teeth, whether it's baking soda, whether it's peroxide, definitely dental floss. These are all non-expensive ways to maintain your brilliance via your smile. Smile, no matter how beautiful or in need of repair your smile may be, is the most genuine way to convey warmth and sincerity. So smile often, smile first, but also take care of your teeth. My dad, despite any upbringing, whatever the case may be, always had a beautiful smile. Next, be thoughtful. My dad, and he tells me these stories all the time. My dad's the type of individual who puts forth thought into who he is and how he approaches people. So he's the type of individual, let's take a romance scenario, whether he is living on the same street as someone, he's growing up, so he's a teenager, lives on the same street as the lady he wants to get to know, he's interested in, he's smitten and attracted to, live on the same street. She lives at the end of the street, he can walk down and say hello, knock on the door, let's go get ice cream. What he would do is take a letter and he would mail the letter with his thoughts and how he felt so that it goes all the way through the postal mail system. Although he can walk and deliver it to the mailbox himself, go all the way with the stamps, go all the way around the post office, and arrive just to show that the thought was there. Have the thrill of receiving mail is that was the overall, let's say, impact of that. So, how do we tie this in? In your dealings with people, put the extra warmth and sincerity and human element into everything you do. He's also a person who will pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I was just thinking about you. Hey, it's your birthday. And I just wanted to let you know you are special." He is a person who does that to this day. And so never be too proud, never be too cool to add the human element in everything you do, whether you face rejection or otherwise. Always be willing to take the first step of sincerity and warmth in everything you do. Now, next, never be too macho to share how you feel, followed by never hide exactly how you feel. So, one thing, one aspect, one characteristic, one quality that my dad has in abundance is the ability to melt the ice of unfamiliarity with the warmth or the flame of direct sincerity in the moment. It works on me every time, and I know he's doing it. I'm the one giving you these case study lessons. But he'll say something like, "Look, Shadi, you are the best thing that's ever happened to me, and you're the reason why I'm able to do A, B, and C in life, or you gave me the inspiration at this moment in my life to keep on going." Now, I'm a grown, tough man, and the fact that he's able to say that to me is a strength within him because it's not easy for men to express their, let's say, sincerity to another guy, especially to his son. And he's able to do that, and he'll say to family members, "Well, I appreciate what you did for me here, and this, I was in trouble in this situation, and I was able to see a different perspective, and also never hiding how you feel. It's if something needs to be expressed, then he's willing to express that as well. Whether it's 'I love you,' we can do better in this case. We missed the Saturday conversation. Let's get things back on track because it helps me in this way." Never be too macho. Ladies, never be too above the ability to step down off a pedestal and express exactly how you feel in the moment. We often feel these emotions, but many people, most people, 95% of people will take those feelings and go away or take those feelings to the grave and they never get expressed. He gives you your flowers while you are alive to smell them. And it helps you water them too. It gets no better. It works every time. My goodness. He gets me with that. So let's go into how we approach networking all wrong. We get it all wrong. In the James Eleazer method to how he gets it right. Thank you, Rob Stoll, for joining this broadcast on a wonderful Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers, grandfathers, uncles who are, and sons, because it's a celebration of fatherhood on this broadcast. So, how we get it networking all wrong. Connecting with people is what I define as networking. Active connections with people, active relationships. We go along to get along. We go along to get along. And I want you to, if these ideas are resonating with you, I want you to share this broadcast because, like I said, you can choose your friends, you can choose your family, but you cannot choose your origin. The first 5 minutes of this video is me breaking down how my father helped me in my process in becoming greater as a practitioner of people skills, but also how We repaired our relationship so that we have a greater understanding of each other. You may have familiarity, you may have proximity, you may have love for your relative or for your mom or dad, but do you really know them as a person, what they're thinking and what they were thinking during the key moments of your upbringing? And if you take the time to learn these things, you will gain a wealth of insight in terms of the cycle of life that they're watching you go through and some insights of how to do it better. Makes no sense to repeat cycles. So, again, we go along to get along. We approach networking all wrong because we say things not to offend people, even when it is something that needs to be said. My dad is a master of getting people's attention because he is polarizing. And polarization is a good thing because it expresses what needs to be said when it needs to be said to the person that it needs to be said to. So if someone says, "Hey, we do you like ice cream?" and you don't want to offend them, the incorrect thing to say is, "Yes, I love ice cream," when you secretly have lactose intolerance. Or maybe you're vegan and you maybe the last time you saw them, you were not vegan, or maybe you weren't lactose intolerant. Saying how you feel and what your intentions are, what your preferences is a good thing. And expressing your boundaries is a great thing. Saying it in a moment is a divine thing because you give the person what they need and the opportunity to correct. If you say things after the fact, what begins to happen is the issue itself is goes away in the feeling of betrayal. Like, why didn't you tell me this in the moment? It could have given me a chance to fix it. And so you always give people the chance to learn more about you through polarization. So be clear about what you stand for, your values, what you like, your preferences, and say what needs to be said in the moment. And you would think that being polarizing would create this impact of people not wanting to be around him, or but what it does is it creates the opposite effect of this strange loyalty to people around him because you get what you get. And the polarization is prefaced by, hey, I want the best for this situation, and but this is what can be improved, or this is what I would prefer. And more people need that particular skill set when you're meeting new people and when you're trying to impress others. You gain more respect when you are who you are, but when you are respectful to others at the same time. Now, we're going to transition into how to own the room at live events. I'm going to use the nightclub owner analogy. And a nightclub owner acts like they own the place. Now, I want you to picture a nightclub owner versus an individual who is waiting in line for 3 hours to get into said nightclub. So, the person who is owning the nightclub is relaxed. They are, they greet everyone. They are complimentary. They are knowledgeable. They are well dressed. And when you enter a room, you have to take in the whole environment. And so the question may be, how do I act like I own the place when I don't own anything? I'm just getting started. I don't have the credibility to do this. First things first is to own your breath. I'm going to just take you to yoga for a second. Own your breath and just take a deep, all encompassing breath when you enter a new room and just take it all in. Be in the moment. When a heartbeat is present, smartphones do not exist. You will gain 100 times more charisma points by simply making eye contact with the person when you're speaking with them for the YouTube, making eye contact when you speak with them, and being in the moment, giving a person what I feel is the number one type of currency that you have, your number one superpower, which is your attention. When your attention is fully focused, you have the idea of giving them more because attention is underdelivered in today's conversations. We live in the highest point of distractions at any point in history. 20 years ago, kids were not on a phone, number one, trying to balance music, drive with one knee while taking a phone call and texting someone else. This happens every day on our roads. So, in our conversations, you may go on a date and somebody's on their phone and texting, and we live in a attention deficit reality. So by simply going back to the basics and removing the smartphone, giving people undivided attention for YouTube, undivided attention, you have the ability to unlock the power of attention as a form of currency. So always be the first person to greet. When someone is in authority, they're always the first person to make the other at ease because you're entering my world. I want you to be comfortable. So my dad will greet everyone in a public place. Everyone. Did I say everyone? Everyone. I'll give you an example. When we go out for Father's Day, my dad has this way of taking over entire restaurants, entire sections. It's ridiculous. And I'm just sitting there like, I'm watching the master at work. Here we go. And this means he's greeting the waiter. He's greeting the waitresses. He is greeting the bartender. He's greeting other fathers, sons, and daughters who are out eating. He's talking to everyone. And what tends to happen is by about 45 minutes in, this man has had people, waitresses from other sections coming over to his section to laugh and to joke and to share and just to get some energy from the energy guy himself. And that ties into the next point, which is make everyone's life easier through compliments and conversation. Compliments and conversation. So the question may be, Shadi, I'm not used to giving people compliments and I don't have any conversation with anybody. But I'm a nice person. I would like to learn more about this. So that ties into being in the moment. Remove your smartphone. Be observant. People watch. And the key is if something you like comes across your radar, a distinct characteristic, a decision that was made by the individual, then you compliment that person on that particular choice. Compliment them on that particular decision. Compliment them on their style. And that is one way to make everyone's life easier when you're in the moment. Be in the moment. Be in the moment. Your glasses have so much style. Can I try them on? And it validates the decision that they've made. And he does this everywhere we go. Everywhere we go. Conversation. Small talk. How is your day going? You look great today. How's your week going to be this week? I mean, he can talk to the janitor for 5 minutes about, let's say, the shoes he has on and how his week is going to be. What are you most excited about this week? And the janitor's like, puts the mop down. He's like, well, actually, I have this kung fu class that I'm teaching. Oh, kung fu, it's going to be great. And by the time we sit down, it may be people delivering us his favorite beverages or extra, let's say, appetizers. It's ridiculous. James Eleazer is the one person you want to bring out with to your happy hour events. But for Father's Day, for example, it's always a major thing. Now, I'll give you another bonus tip. I just thought about this as I'm reliving, how he takes over restaurants. If you're in a group of people, celebrate, promote the greatness of your team. Case in point, what he does to me that puts me in such embarrassment is that he will pump me up to every single person that we come across everywhere we go. So this is my son. You know, he did the official website of the state we live in, don't you know? That's my boy. And yes, yes, it's a warm introduction all the way. So um, I like you to meet my son. So they'll say to the waitress, I like you to meet my son. Now, my son, he's not quite like me, but he's the best version of me. So, but, I kind of smell better than him, but he's brilliant in his own way. And so when you're out with your friends, and let's say you go to the bartender, I have the greatest collection of friends that are assembled for this night. And I want to make sure they have the perfect night. What do you recommend as far as the perfect selection for them? It engages the bartender, for example, and gets them into your world. And what happens is they become invested in the entire experience that you're going through. So they will come to you and say, well, how are things going with your friends? Well, Jim is having a great time, and Mike and Susan and everyone's doing great. And so that's one thing he does. Compliments and conversation. He is the best. Now, what I learned about fashion and appearance from my dad: never be afraid to stand out, never be afraid to be unique. I'm going to tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was this kid named Shadi, and his dad took him to the barbershop to get a haircut. Shadi was 8 at this time. Now, I got the new hairstyle at the moment, got the haircut. And when I saw the mirror and the barber showed me the haircut, and my dad says, give him the new style, make sure he looks great. And the barber said, yes, sir. Hooked it up, you know, did the haircut. I saw the mirror and I immediately felt, oh my goodness, what in the world is this? My friends are going to tease me until oblivion. I can't even go to school with this haircut. This is not going to work. And so I had a bit of a attitude. I did not communicate at 8 years old how I felt in the moment. And so he says, what's the matter? You don't look happy. And I actually cried. A big crocodile tear came out my eye. Like, ugh. And I basically mentioned that this haircut wasn't working for me. The kids are going to laugh at me. And he got upset. And the reason why I got upset was not because I was crying. It was because I had the fear of standing out and being different. And he told me some things. I remember this like it was, I remember being in the passenger seat like it was yesterday. We were on Staten Avenue. Yes, we were, Philadelphia. And so he mentioned to me, he says, listen, you can't be afraid to stand out. And you are one of a kind. No one else is like you. And in being who you are, you have to walk your own path. And that means you have to make decisions in which you express who you are and what you do. And he went down this path of you got to be proud of the decision that you make. You have to be willing to create your own style, create your own mark on this planet. And I remember that day like it was yesterday. So never be afraid to stand out. Now, how do you stand out? Now, one thing that he is very, very, very knowledgeable in, or his one of his trademarks, which is also cascaded into my life, is the golden rule, which is your accessories must reflect your personality. Your accessories must reflect your personality. So, my dad, no matter what you may think about my style and some shoes you've seen me wear, some socks or a blazer, just know that I have a dad in my life that I can talk to for 1 hour about cufflinks, about watches, about cologne. And your accessories should reflect your unique personality. So whether it's your watch, create your signature style. And your fashion and your appearance will go further in your business life and your professional life than you will ever know. I can tell you hardcore business stories where an executive says, "Hey, I like your style." And it led to all sorts of opportunities. I was at a live event recently for government contracting. So this is the big wigs are in this event, full room. And the speaker was so impressed with my style that he gave me a nickname. But it didn't stop there. He introduced me to a couple people running for office, and it led to additional relationships within the Department of Transportation and with the minority business certification, and all sorts of other doors have now opened from that unique expression of my signature style. So you always want to make sure that your accessories reflect your personality. Your accessories reflect your personalities. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge everyone who has joined the broadcast or has currently on the broadcast. We have Dangerous Dave Sawyer. We have Christopher Mendez, Simone Constantine, Mr. Sean Archer, new author. Congratulations, sir. Simone Gordon, Christopher Bazemore, Mr. Daniel Laskowitz, Rob Stahl, my cousin, Darren Haynes. Now, each one of you, I want you to share the broadcast. Share the broadcast. Send hearts to the broadcast. Like the broadcast. Because, as I mentioned, you can choose your friends. You can choose your family, but you cannot choose your origin. And what I'm sharing with you are some things that I've noticed throughout the years that have helped me succeed as a business owner, as a professional, as a man, that I learned directly from my father. And I didn't realize this at the time, but as I sat back and most importantly, as I interact with my dad, as we become seasoned veterans of life, and that there's many things that we learned in our life's journey that we absolutely learn from each other and that we've absorbed from each other. And my call to action for you is not to just call your father on Father's Day, but to build a bridge in a relationship, restore that ability to learn and glean from your father as much as possible. You cannot choose your father. It's only one. And that's what I want you to take home. Now, when it comes to my dad, I've learned a lifetime of foundational benefits from my dad. He has given me an excellent guideline to build relationships, people skills, and help me to step out of my shell and grow. But I've taken those skills and I've learned a few things along the way myself. And so many people ask me, they say, Shadi, how do I leverage my connections and transform them into a power circle so that everywhere I go, I have the James Eleazer effect. I have the ability to go into a room and everyone says, hey, it's so good to see you, as opposed to, who are you again? What are you doing? I've also been told that the gurus say that, hey, I need to form these partnerships and joint ventures. But listen, I don't have an email list, not a best-selling author. In fact, I'm in some cubicle somewhere, but I have these ideas that I need to get off the ground. I just need the roadmap to do this. What I've learned from James Eleazer, my dad, has helped me to package this all up. And maybe in your case, all the networking profiles, whether it's Alignable, Plaxo, LinkedIn, they're only utilized when you need a job and you put out that post like, I'm looking for 1099 work, or I'm looking for the next position, please hire me. And other than that, it's cobwebs. The last time you logged in, you don't even know what the password is. You have to go call somebody else and go to your email and hit the reset password. So you're not actively building the power circle. So what I've done for you is, in the past 40 minutes, I've given you some steps, some tips, actionable strategies, but Some of you want results. You want to say, hey, in the next month, I want to have this power circle. I want the James Eleazer effect in my life and in my business. So the solution for you is the Power Circle Partnerships and Profits beta experience. So I'm opening up a pilot group. Now, I want you to be very clear about this. I want to be very clear. I'm going to take this group over the next month. So it'll be a kickoff and there'll be three 75-minute sessions with me and you on video. If you can't make the video, you get the recording so you don't have to take notes. And I'm going to walk you through step by step. I am the implementation god, and I will help you gain results in each and every session. You get a recording, and so at the end of the month, you have a power circle roadmap, a power circle process that you implement each and every day in order for you to succeed, in order for you to grow. And you get unlimited email support from me. There is no question that you can ask me about building a power circle that I cannot leverage my network to answer. Most importantly, use leverage, and that I cannot answer from personal experience. What makes this special is that I'm not going to give you a thumbs up emoji and say good job. I'm not going to give you a smiley face emoji and say, well, keep it going. I'm going to give you strategy, template, case study, script. Say this exactly. Read this. Do you need me to get on a call with you to make the call and get this done to form that partnership? Let's get on a call. Put it on the calendar. Unlimited email support. And what you also receive are my customized scripts for relationship and partnership building. So every time, most people do not know this, but every time I help a client, I create a process so I don't have to duplicate it and repeat myself. So I create a template. If I say do this, it's a template. So there's a template library that exists behind the scenes that you gain access to. You also gain access to my promotional partners network designed to increase your sales and quality business relationships. So if you want to be a personal brand in the IT space or in the healing space, or you're a best-selling author, I will connect you with someone who is doing it on a slightly higher level. And due to the fact that the law of reciprocity is what it is, when I help them, they help me. So I'm always in this cycle of giving and receiving. And because they respect me, they will extend the courtesy to you to allow you to ask the questions that will save you time and resources and money. And you can get a clear path of where you're heading because you'll get the views directly from the mountaintop. So you also get access to relationship building strategies and a roadmap for your particular style. So if you're a blogger or a person who expresses themselves through writing, I'll show you how to build your power circle through the written word so that you don't have to be awkward and a guru has told you you need to get on stage and you're like, I don't want that. So you have a customized roadmap, customized plan, recordings, unlimited email support. Now, the pilot group, as I said, I'm going to take this group, I'm going to utilize the notes, the results. I'm going to package this offering, add some bells and whistles. I'm going to sell this for $5,000, $49.97 to be exact. But the pilot group I'm bringing through because you're helping me to sharpen these ideas, and I'm helping you by getting you some bare basics results that you need to help your business, your brand, your ideas grow. So the beta is going for a one-time payment of $67 at the early bird rate. In order for you to take action, you may enter your credit card, your PayPal, your debit card, or send a carrier pigeon to the offices at bit.ly forward slash Power Circle 2018. So that is bit.ly forward slash Power Circle 2018. And if you are on this broadcast, you generally like the ideas I'm presenting. So I'm giving you the opportunity to not just listen to me, but to work with me over the span of 1 month. to get the results that I'm sharing with you in this video. Now, I can't give you a lifetime of lessons in one video, so let's break it down into a month and get you some real results. There's some great in-depth things that my dad has shared with me, but there's also some great things that I've learned from living on an aircraft carrier in the middle of the ocean with 5,000 people, that I've learned from being the youngest president of SCORE in the entire United States, of being a full-time entrepreneur, lots of lessons in being a martial artist that I've learned about people and energy conservation and frame, and just relationships overall in terms of hosting up to 48 live events per year. So let me help you build your power circle and transform the on off relationship or the sometimes using social media, and use the simple approach step by step to help you build that power circle. bit.ly/power circle 2018, $67 to enter the pilot group, and one-time payment to get you a month of quality results. Happy Father's Day. Thank you, Dad, for all you've done for me to help me know and do better in the world, help make the world a better place through people skills and a intoxicating version of charm that you've provided in my life. For those of you who want to take the step further, bit.ly power circle 2018, get results. Don't watch videos, get results. In addition to the actionable steps that we've covered today, I want you to have a powerful and productive week. I am Shadidi Eleazer. Enjoy the rest of your day.